Hey, I'm Warren Sprouse. You're on the Bible Forum. We're here every Sunday night from 8 until 10 p.m. Just for you. We talk about life from a biblical perspective. I don't know how up to speed you are in the topography of this planet, but in recent months, there's been a tremendous amount of seismic activity along what scientists call the Ring of Fire. A couple of significant earthquakes just last Monday got a lot of attention because they happened in a very heavily populated areas. Fortunately, the damage was fairly limited and only a few people died. But scientists assure us that this is only a matter of time before a killer quake hits a major city. And considering the fact that hundreds of millions of people live along the perimeter of the Pacific Ocean, when a killer quake does strike, it could potentially be talking about a disaster unlike anything we've ever seen before. Meaning the record in Genesis 6 about a global flood is true. How do we know that? Well, because the Bible tells us that the earth opened up, spewing out water, which, along with the release from above, completely covered the earth to the tops of the highest mountains and above. Yeah, the earth gives testimony of this great cataclysm. The earth is scarred. Its mantle is broken into large pieces that continually move. You can see these with Google Maps. Evidence remains to indicate the earth was once covered with water. Evidence of several civilizations have been found underwater. History records the climactic changes that arose from this global event. Ice ages are the direct result, several ice ages. A major ice age, followed by a lesser ice age, followed by one lesser than that, in succession, over thousands of years. There have been at least 5 significant ice ages in Earth's history, and at least a dozen glacial expansions in the past. A Revolutionary War was fought at the end of what is called the Little Ice Age. Why? Why all of this? Well, because of the massive amount of water that was now on the surface of the earth. That water cooled the planet, and the water froze. And that ice then cooled the air temperatures, freezing even more water. This frozen water forms glaciers that moved, picking up rocks and soil, eroding hills, carving out basins. We see it coming down through Canada into the United States. Sea levels would drop, revealing land bridges, allowing people to migrate across continents. Receding glaciation trapped waters in basins and inland lakes. Great Lakes? Yes, that's where they came from. If the earth were completely flooded, the air temperature would be reduced. As the water subsides, the dry earth would appear and the temperatures would then rise. But scientists tell us it would eventually cool off again, only to warm up again, and to do this in cycles that continue to this day. Of course, not in such an obvious way anymore. But how much water is trapped in the ice at our poles? If you see pictures, Google Map, or documentaries, you see the South Pole is huge. The North Pole is pretty big too, but it's not like the South Pole. And they tell us that today they are both melting and freezing. There's this cycle that continues. Now, along with solar radiation levels, it's believed that global warming and cooling is connected to plate tectonic activity. The shifting of the Earth's plates creates large-scale changes to continental masses, which impacts ocean and atmospheric currents, triggers volcanic activity that releases carbon dioxide into the air. I didn't make that up. That comes from the History Channel's webpage, history.com. The Ring of Fire is dramatic evidence of this reality, stretching from the tip of South America all the way up to Alaska, across to Japan, down near the Philippines to Australia. 75% of the Earth's volcanoes, more than 450 of them, are located along this ring of fire. 95% of the Earth's earthquakes occur along its path, including the planet's most violent and dramatic seismic events. We are on the verge of some pretty interesting volcanic action, and people are going to die. If this thing really cranks up, as scientists seem to think it can, it could very well be some of the things that we read about in the Bible during the Great Tribulation period. I think that's how close we really are. Or this could all calm down and recycle at another time. As long as these plates are moving, they're putting pressure on things. Something's going to give. Earthquakes, volcanoes. Not nice.